So I am currently in Japan right now, and this is not a flex. I'm not trying to flex, but I'm in Japan. At the time of this recording is 1:32 p.m. May the 20th, I believe, which means that we're a day ahead. So we're 16 hours ahead in California, 13 hours ahead on the East Coast. So it's about 12:30 a.m. in Michigan and 9:30 p.m. Tuesday in LA. And I got to tell you, I've been here for about 4 days now, and this has been the most incredible trip I've ever been on in my entire life. Now, I want to preface this by saying I've never really been a traveler, let alone out the country, let alone Japan, which is this is so many people's bucket list, especially coming from where I'm from. This is so many people's bucket list to travel to Japan and to go to Disneyland for the first time in my life and to say that I went to Disneyland Tokyo is crazy. Um, I'm going to be here for 17 days. So I have basically 2 more weeks left here to explore, to travel, to create content, and just to have a great time. And two quick things I want to share with you before we get into the episode. The food here is incredible. It's just incredible. I had, the first night here, I had ramen, um, which was out of this world. Last night then the second day was at Disneyland pretty much all day. Then last night yesterday, I went to this burger place, like, in downtown Tokyo proper called what's the place called? It is I wanna give them a proper shout out. It's called Wagyu Burger in, Hiroka, Tokyo. Outstanding. I got this burger called I think it was called the Cheese Bomb, and basically what it is it's a double cheeseburger, and they bring the burger out, and then they take this cup Imma share it on my Instagram so you see, but they take this cup, and they pour all this melted cheese in the cup, and then they remove it, and it just goes all over the burger, and they give you, like, these black, um latex gloves to eat your food. One of the things that I've noticed about the eating here, the portion sizes are a lot smaller than in American cuisine. They also bring the fries out as an appetizer rather than bring it out with the burger. And so they give you the fries first, and it's literally like a small little cup of French fries, which was outstanding. And then the main thing, the burger was a good size, but the food here is outstanding. The second thing is it's very quiet here. The people here in Japan are very quiet. It's very structured, and it's very clean. The customer service has been amazing. It's just I cannot the 4 days that I've been here, I cannot I'm gonna turn this live off. The 4 days that I've been here, I know this video is gonna be terrible. I don't have maybe I'll turn it on. Let me adjust this a little bit. Sorry. I'm making this up as I go here, guys. How do I lock this? There you go. The customer service has been amazing. I cannot stress if you can ever go to Japan, I highly recommend it. It's been a life changing experience, which is kind of what has driven me to make this video and this podcast, I should say. So if you're watching this and if you're listening to this, the what I want to leave you with on this episode about loud is I'm not saying you have to come to Japan to recognize this, but being here has made me realize how long I've been overthinking who I'm supposed to be, especially who I'm presenting myself to be online. I, you know, since I can remember, I've been someone that just second guessed my ability, second guessed my talent, second guessed just me. And if I can just talk about the last 6 years of my life that I've been a presence on social media, I have over a million plus followers across social media platforms. And, for the last 2 to 3 years, I kind of felt like I kind of hit this place where creatively I kind of felt stale, even though my content wasn't stale, even though that I really enjoyed the content that I was making. I just felt like there was more to me that I just wasn't saying. You know what I mean? And if you know me personally behind the scenes, I'm a very serious, not serious person. Meaning like when it's time to have the conversations where we have to go deep, we go there. But most of the time I'm very laid back. I love to have a good time. I'm talking about movies or shows or sports or, pop culture for the most part of the conversations that we're having. Um, I'm cracking jokes a lot. I come from a family that cracks jokes a lot in debates. So I'm debating a lot sometimes. And I felt like I never really got a chance to show that part of me for the first 3 to 4 years of me being on social. And now, especially this past year of 2026, I've kind of just slowly started to roll out the full Aaron experience, which has caught a lot of people off guard. I'm telling you, I get messages and DMs of people that are just like, "Oh man, I remember when you were doing the prayer videos or when you were doing encouraging words, talking about your relationship with God, man. I hope you find your way back." I'm like, damn, like it's like, you know, this is exactly why I was waiting so long to do the kind of content that I'm doing now was because of that reason. I built such a platform on Christian content that I felt like if I were to talk about other things that I was interested in, that people would think that I'm not a believer anymore, or my friends or people that I went to church with would start looking at me sideways, or I had all these ideas in my head. And so I would get these DMs and messages of people saying that, and I'd be like, dang, like people just really think I just don't believe in God or I'm not a Christian anymore. Like, and it's further from the truth. If anything, my relationship with God and my walk with Christ has gotten deeper the more I started doing this kind of content, because one of the things that I now realize is that personality is a part of purpose. I want to say this again. Don't miss this. Personality is a part of purpose. How you are uniquely wired, the way you think, the way you perceive things, your sense of humor, how you talk, if you're animated, like your personality is a part of your purpose. And there is a certain way that you are that when you pair that with the thing that you care about the most and you deliver it in a way that only you can, there's no other feeling greater than that. And I shared something on my stories a couple days ago that the last 30 days where I really kind of doubled down on me, right? I started talking about Michael Jackson and pop culture and music and movies and kind of things that's going on in the world, stuff that I've been wanting to do and I just haven't done it. And I shared this screenshot that over the last 30 days on Instagram alone, I've amassed like 1.3 million views. I have videos that have done, you know, I think I have 3 videos alone that have done 300 plus thousand views. And I have videos that have done 100,000, 200,000, 50,000, whatever. And it's not about the metrics, but it's about not only is the content doing well, but I feel well while doing the content. And if you're listening to this or watching this and you're at a point in your life where I was at, I'm 39 years old, right? This is another reason why being in Japan means so much to me, because one of my goals for my last year of my 30s is to do stuff that I've never done. and to close out my 30s with a bang. So, what way to be a month into turning 39 and being in Japan? But if you're watching this, or if you're listening to this, and you are where I am or where I was, this is your sign, man, to just really say, I'm about to double down on being me. And whatever that means to you, right? It may not be content for you. It may not be, video. It may be audio for you. Maybe it's starting a business. Maybe it's going back to school. I don't know what it is for you, but it could be all of it. And I think being born in this time that we're in right now, where there literally is an endless amount of ways for you to express your creativity. I just really think it's important to just shoot your shot and just try something. And why not try it all? And it's like with this podcast, I really do believe God has placed on my heart a very, very, here's the thing too, like God, I was able to touch a lot of people with my content, you know, prayers, encouraging words. I was, being asked to come around the country to speak at conferences and just to speak on stages and big and small. And I preached at my church. I helped start a youth ministry. I spoke at eighth grade graduation commencement ceremonies. Um, even just the messages I would get on social media about how much my content meant to them. I've been able to reach a lot of people, and I'm very fortunate and grateful to be able to do that. But one of the things that I also think about now is I was able to reach a lot of people being one part of me. And one of the things that really brings me joy is now that I'm opening up more of me, how many more souls can I reach? How many more people can I reach and help them find a relationship with God? And some of you may be asking, well, you're not talking about prayers, you're not talking about God as much as you used to. How can you see, man, this is what you fail to realize. You know, it's not just about talking about God, it's about walking with him. I don't want people to just know that I'm a believer because I say it. I want people to know because of how I live. Because when they meet me in person and they're able to see my authenticity and to hear the passion and to hear my love for God and my love for my work, that they experience that through their relationship and encounters with me. There's a lot of people that talk about it, but when you are with them in person, there's no connection or relatability there. You know what I mean? It's kind of hollow. And I've been there too, where like I talk about God a lot and I've reached a lot of people around the world virtually, but there's been a lot of times where I'm one on one with someone or in a small group, I'm not really present. And I feel like one of the reasons why I kind of got burnt out a few years ago was because a lot of what I was doing was very performative. And I know that's a word that's being thrown around a lot, but I felt very performative in what I was doing with my career. And now, I'm training people, I'm coaching, coaching people one on one, and I still work with a lot of business people behind the scenes. So there are things that I do that I don't really talk about a lot, but I coach founders and executives and CEOs on how to um, get the most out of their business, but more importantly, how to get the most out of themselves and let that bleed into their business, right? So helping people become more whole holistically, mind, body, and spirit, and how to get rid of the noise that's in the head and get into your body and focus on what's important and how to get results in a faster fashion, right? So people pay me to get results quickly, but also results that are nutritionally dense. What do I mean by that? We're not just getting goals and we're not just accomplishing things just to say it. Like we're going after fulfillment here, not success. Those are two totally different things. So I do that too, right? So But the reason why I bring all this up is I want to show the world all of me. And I'll never forget this conversation I had with one of my best friends, Kyle, on my birthday in 2025. So last year. And he just said, like, bro, you lived a lot of lives. And we were having this conversation on my birthday in the parking lot of the gym. And he, I was telling him about what I was thinking about and what I was feeling. And he was just like, bro, you lived a lot of lives. Just think you got to let people into like all the lives that you lived and all the experiences you've had. And people don't know about my journey with basketball. People don't know about, you know, having a black mother and a white father, what it was like growing up the only mixed kid in your family and having three white brothers and two black brothers and not feeling seen. I don't really talk about that a lot. Talk about going to private schools and, having your professional basketball dreams taken away because of knee surgeries and going into acting and modeling and relationships and all these things that I never really talked about because I felt like I couldn't, when in reality, I wasn't giving myself permission to do that. And I'm telling you right now, the things that you are the most hesitant to do because of how you feel people are going to perceive that are the things you should be doing. I'll repeat, what you are hesitant to do for whatever reason, you're scared, you're worried, you don't know how people are going to perceive that. People are going to like you, they're going to hate you, they're going to love you, whatever. Those things are what you should be doing. One is going to require faith. It's going to require you to go outside of yourself to do that, right? So you're bringing God into what you're doing, which is what I was saying earlier. Like me taking a leap of faith and starting to make content that really moves my soul allows me to bring God into the things that I'm uncertain about doing, and it gives me the strength to do it, and it can come out on the screen, right? I have friends. I'm gonna tell you something. I have friends that have reached out to me about the content that I'm putting out now that was not reaching out to me of the content I was doing before. And one of the reasons why is because I believe this is just what I believe. I believe because I'm making myself feel more relatable to people, right? Because sometimes, when you're walking this life and, when you're walking with God and when or just being a believer like me, sometimes we forget that everybody's at different stages of their faith journey. And it's important to not shout from the mountaintops, but come down to where people are at. And I don't want to make it seem like I'm up here and I got to go down to reach people down, but it's more so I want to be able to feel approachable that when people hear me speak or they see my content, they're like, you know what, this is a dude that I want to, have lunch with. This is a guy I want to have coffee with. This is a dude that if I was on a 5-hour plane ride, or if I was on a 12-hour flight to Japan, we would have an incredible conversation. And because of that, right, that allows me to build that trust to be able to, if it goes there, to talk about my faith and to talk about why I do what I do, or if they ask me, how do you get so confident, or whatever it goes into, it allows me to do that. And so I have nothing written down at all. I'm just thinking off the top of my head right now, and what's in my heart is like it's really important for you to just really be yourself. And I know it's hard to do, and it's very easy to say, but I have clients that I work with, and I'm telling you, like, I have a client that I'm about to work with that is in the music industry. One of the things that we're going to work on is sometimes we try to do our way into clarity um instead of just being, right? And what I mean by that is like when you're trying to make things happen, when you're trying to, to make things better, there tends to be a tendency to do more stuff, take on more responsibilities, make more content, try to make more money, and try to just put more stuff on your plate. But sometimes the answer is actually doing less and like just being yourself. We are human beings, we're not human doings. And the more that we're trying to do things, sometimes it's coming from a place of insecurity because we need people's approval. So we think that if we do more, we're proving to people that we deserve and earn the things that we get. When in reality, it's just like, number one, the more that you just be yourself and you understand and you're secure in you, whatever people think is of no concern. Like they crucified Christ. So people are going to hate, people are going to think whatever they want to think, regardless of the fact. And so if you're spending your time trying to prove people that you're good or that you should listen to my music or you should read my book or you should listen to my podcast, like you're going to waste your time. You know what I mean? So as somebody that just turned 39 and that is in his, in his about to approach 40 era, one of the things I wish I would have learned earlier was to trust my own ability more and to trust that what made me different did not discredit my purpose. It actually differentiated me from everyone to make my work more purposeful. Because now I carry myself in a way that if you remove me from any equation, the value of the thing you remove me from goes way down. And when you put me into an equation, the value of what you put me in goes way up. Because I know that you can only get the Aaron experience if it's coming from me. So like when I put out content, right? Or like when I'm doing a podcast, one of the things that I'm keeping in the forefront of my mind is like, am I trying to sound like you should listen to this? Or am I just being me, knowing that my perspective on the world is so valuable and the way I do it is so unique that the right person has to stop and listen to it because they're going to see something or hear something that they've never heard before because it can only come through me. Right. And so that's what I'm saying. Like walking with God is like when I'm being myself, I allow him to come through me more because I'm not trying to control this. I was talking to a client of mine and the same guy I was telling you about. And one of the things I said in our first meeting was, your job is to let go of the balloon, not try to control the wind. And instantly when he heard that, he was like, damn, that makes so much sense. And what I was telling him was, we have a tendency to try to control the wind before we let go of the balloon. And so we want all the conditions to be right and perfect. Like we, we, we need people to do this and this and this, and I need this and this and this. And then I'll feel secure enough to let the balloon because now I know where it's going to go. When in reality, creativity is an infinite resource. It's a spiritual asset. It's endless. You cannot run out of creativity. Like we are God's creation. And so because of that, creativity is a endless asset. However, if you don't use it, you will get clogged up. So when people have like writer's block or they're overthinking or things like that, one of those reasons is because you have ideas and things that you should have executed on a long time ago and you haven't done it. And so you're jammed up with ideas and thoughts because you're not getting rid of stuff. Some of the videos that I put up, dog, I'm not even going to hold you. Some of this is just to get shit out of the way so I can make room for the one that's going to pop. And I don't know which ones are going to pop, but I know like if I'm trying to overthink and trying to figure out how to say this in the right way all the time, I'm going to clog myself up. So when the thing comes to me in the moment where I'm just like, yo, I got to say this now, I won't be able to do it because I'm still thinking about the thing I should have released 2 weeks ago. You feel me? So you got to let go of the balloon for the balloon's sake and let the wind be what the wind is going to be. But here's the thing. The more you let go of balloons, you'll start to see a trend of where the wind is blowing. That's why it's important to let ideas flow, because you're trying to control the wind and you're trying to look at the trend of where the wind is going before you even know where it's blowing. You know what I'm saying? Like, in order for you to know where the wind is going, you got to put something in the air. And so we're trying to control the wind to see, like, where, nah, you got an idea, you got to get it out. You got something to say, you got to say it. You got an idea, you got to write it. You got to you got to take about something, you got to put it out there, bro. Like, you got to just put it out. And then when you start to do that more consistently, you'll start to see a trend. Okay, like, the wind is starting. Okay, so let me go over here. You know what I'm saying? When I was trying to figure out, like, how do I say certain things, when the Michael Jackson movie was about to come out and I saw the reviews, I instantly felt something. I felt compelled to say something. And I just did it on the spot. And the first time I did it, but I felt like I was trying to control the wind, say it in a way where they kind of. So I posted it, then I deleted it, and I was like, "Nah, I'm gonna say this how I want to say it. One take, boom." Next thing you know, it goes viral. It's got over 300 plus thousand views. Nia Long liked it. A bunch of celebrities liked it. Followers was going. Then after that, like, boom, like, people was coming like, what's he gonna say next? What's he gonna say next? Right. And what that has done, it allowed me to see where the wind was blowing in this particular area based on what I was talking about and how I was delivering the message. And so I applied that to different topics: wrestling, sports, music, movies, etc. Now, everything doesn't do 300,000, right? It's not about the views, but it's about me letting go of creativity and not keeping it and hoarding it. You know what I'm saying? You got to spring clean your ideas. And so the purpose of this episode is to hopefully give you confidence that your job is not to control the wind. Your job is to let go of the balloon. And when you put enough balloons in the air, you'll start to see a pattern, right? The trend of the wind is just a pattern. The only way you can notice patterns is you need enough evidences. You need enough test subjects. I'm telling you, like, when I saw that stat that 85% of all podcasts that have ever started since 2007 never make it past 7 episodes, that let me know off rip. All I got to do is just put 9 episodes in the air and my podcast is going to succeed. Just 9. Just 9 puts me in the top 15% of ever. You know what I'm saying? And so, as I conclude this episode, I just want you to know that whatever it is your heart desires on, you can have it, but you got to put enough balloons in the air. Enough. Like, how much is enough until you start to see a pattern? Until you start. Now, if you keep putting balloons in the air and it keeps going to the left and it's not being received well, then you got to look at, okay, what am I doing incorrectly here? Am I releasing the balloon too high? Is it not enough air? And so you start to look at your content and be like, okay, what do I need to change? Like, am I trying to sound too much of this? Am I not being enough of this? Do I need to kind of turn it up a little bit? You know, and then you can start to analyze the packaging of what you're doing. But until you start to put enough content in the air, you can't really discern or determine what you have to adjust. And so that's why when people, like, put stuff out there and it doesn't get accepted off rip, people take it internally as if, oh, I'm not enough. No one likes me. I'm not good. It's like, nah, you haven't even put enough content out there to even be able to come to a conclusion about where the wind is blowing. So bottom line, man, like, as long as you're being authentically yourself and you keep putting stuff out there, God is going to take care of the rest. Not the universe. God. God is going to take care of the rest. The person that created the universe is going to take care of the rest. All right. I'm not trying to throw shade on people that say the universe. I don't say the universe. I say God. That's me. All right. God is going to take care of the rest because s- creativity is a spiritual asset. It is, you cannot run out of it, but you can get stuck with it. Overthinking, hesitating, you can't clog the funnel of where your creativity comes from. Your job is to think of it like this. Your job at the end of the day is to try to get your creativity on zero balance So the next day you have a full supply. So, um, yeah. So here's my first episode from Japan. I hope this really spoke to you, connected with you. Uh, if you haven't followed the podcast, please do so wherever you get your podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Aaron Simpson TV. Yeah, let's continue to grow this thing. I really do believe we got something special going here, and I want to keep it moving. So I love you so much. Be safe and blessed. Thank you for listening to Out Loud. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Peace.